So let's start with NHL. Well, there were a bunch of plays that I did bet. We'll see. Again, I only do the ones that didn't have that all had overnight lines. So the games that didn't have overnight lines, I did not even look at. But there's a couple of things. It's definitely an interesting card, and there's definitely a couple of bets that I did make. I guess let's start. Well, let's start with Edmonton, the Islanders, right? Jim, Edmonton is not winning. Not really scoring. They did win that day where we both bet against them, I believe, wasn't it? Yeah, right. But other than that, they're not winning. At some point, the scoring's got to pick up, right? The Islanders are scoring and are kind of winning. So I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking, first of all, at this line, why do we not want to fade Edmonton here? And my second thought is at some point, Edmonton's going to pick up their scoring. And if it does here at least a little bit, we got to like the over. The Islanders, of course, have been a dead over team, 8 straight overs. Why do we not like the over here? And why do we not like Edmonton here, Jim?
Well, I don't believe their offense is going to...
You don't, huh?
No, they're just too slow. They're big and slow, and that will work in a 7-game playoff series. But when you're playing 80, it's not going to work. And they're 25th in power play, 31st in penalty killing. Until we see those numbers improve, they are not going to start winning games. Their minus 13 goal differential is the 5th worst in the league. And the Isles, they lost an early game to the Blues at home early in the year, but then they've beaten the next 3 Western Conference teams that have come to the Barclays Center easily. They're now 26-4-4 versus Western Conference teams at home, and the Islanders are the play, and the odds are wonderful. We don't even need to take them by the puck line.
Right. So why do you think that the odds are so low? It's just still people are thinking that because of McDavid, Edmonton is a much better team than they really are?
Absolutely. Because of the belief in the Oilers before the season started. And the market hasn't changed yet, and the market hasn't come on. The Islanders have won 6 of their last 8.
I know. All right, well, I did bet this one on the overnight line. I did take it, Islanders -1, just a standard play, and I will make that one an official pick. Islanders -1, and what do you want here, Jim?
I want the Islanders money line.
Okay, so the Islanders money line, best line right now, using SBRodds.com, free line shopping service, -120. So that's the line you're going to get. And I'll take them on -1. So the money line part of that will be -120. And the puck line part of that will be +237 right now at Pinnacle. But you don't like the over here at just 5.5, actually.
I think it's very attainable, and then my lean would be over. But until the Oilers can continually start scoring, and with the way I'm a couple units down in hockey, and so I think I'm going to
can't take those kinds of risks.
I'm just not going to take them.
That's what sucks with sports betting. If you're up units, you can take risks, and then you don't have to be so risk averse, because as we know, being risk averse is one of the most harmful things to being profitable. And when you're down unit, but you have to be risk averse when you're down units. It's really tough, Jim. I feel your pain. I can be a little bit less risk averse than you, so I will take the over at 5.5 -121. And I wish I could, if it wins, I wish I could just kick you a half unit, just slide a half, because you certainly deserve it. Obviously, your opinions on Edmonton are definitely going to impact my my handicapping of them for at least the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we'll keep a close eye on them, but I truly think they need to make a trade. I mean, the whole idea of bringing Ryan Strome into the lineup was to have offense, that offense that they thought Eberle wasn't providing. Right. Now, Eberle has not looked that good in the Islanders, but Strome has done absolutely nothing, and now that they get to play against each other, I don't think it'll spark anything.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to take the over 5.5, -121 is the line right now at Pinnacle, and -1, and Jim's taking them conservatively just on the money line, and I'm not going to triple up. What do you think about the Islanders team total over 2.5 -153?
I think that the Oilers, because they have no speed, are going to play a system where they dump the puck in and they close off space continually, and they're going to create a situation where the only time they'll take risks is on the power play or when that McDavid line has the offensive zone face-off. So I just don't trust. They're not playing a free-flowing game, so I don't know how they're going to. How there's going to be a ton of offense. I mean, I expect them to go over 5.5, but I'm not certain of it.
Okay, Jim, there's a bunch of other picks that I'm definitely going to give on today's NHL card, but let's go to you. What's a pick that you're really liking you can't wait to share with us all here?
I'm going to take the Los Angeles Kings.
That was one of the picks I was going to give, Jim.
Over the Anaheim Ducks. Another spot where all we have to do is take the money line and no need for the puck line. Kings are 10-2-2 and off to a great start. They've handled this Jeff Carter injury extremely well. Very impressive. And the issue with the Ducks is they're missing their best forward with Getzlaf and their best defenseman with Cam Fowler. They have the 30th power play in the league because of it. When they just lost a 2-1 shootout to the Sharks, but they were outshot 45-26 6 in that game. They were destroyed in that game, but hot goaltending kept them in it. I'm not going to take any 5-goal unders.
Right.
It
was actually 5.5 minus 143 at Pinnacle on the overnight line.
I'm not going to take anything over any unders that are bigger favorites than minus 130. Both those things I'm going to completely take out of my action completely.
Actually, right now it's minus 128 at BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag. I mean, I'm just saying, line shopping. It's great for betting and for joke making when it comes to lines.
Is it really at minus
128 at BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag? Pinnacle has minus 133. Heritage minus 135. Bunch of places 135. You wager 135, but BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag just minus 128. Ooh, that's tempting and more tempting, isn't it?
It's very tempting.
Jim, it's tempting. I don't know. I don't want you to do something rash and regret it, but then again, I want you to get some units so that you can feel good sitting next to me every day in the show.
Well, let's come back to it. I've got the Kings right now.
Let's come back to it. Jim, I liked LA as well. I am going to take them, though. I'm going to take a little bit of a volatility in here bet into volatility because it might go way under. We might see the Kings win 2-zip or 3-zip or 3-1. I will take them on the -1 line. The money line part of that is minus 105, and the puck line part of that is plus 277 at Pinnacle. So that's a big underdog line there for the Kings. What do you want them on? How do you want them on this one?
I'm just going to take the money line.
Okay, minus 105 at Pinnacle is the best line right now. And the Kings, so you believe, I'm a believer in Jonathan Quick for sure, his hot start, that it's for real. And the Kings' hot start to the season, you think that's for real as well?
I don't know how for real it is. I mean, they're going to be a good hockey team, but a 10-2-2, I mean, they're not going to keep this up.
Right.
They're a big, slow, tough hockey team, which will make, again, it's like they'll make them very tough to play against in the playoffs, but over 82 games, you're going to want offense sometimes. You can't shut every team down every night, so I don't think it'll stay quite like this. Okay, well, I'm on LA -1. Jim is on the LA money line, and what do you think about, if you don't like the under, what about just Anaheim, under 2.5, plus 105? That's kind of tempting, right? That's very tempting, plus 105. I mean, if they get to 3, you lose. But, if it's a 3-1 game, 2-0, 3-2, you win it, and you get even slight plus money there. That's very tempting. That's very tempting. Both of those, the under and all right, we'll review it. And every time we say we're going to revisit something, we don't get to it. But this time we will, because I want you to get a couple units on there, Jim. I'd hate to have you have a lean and then not add it on and have it cash. But we'll get to that. We'll get to back that one. This is a game. Let's go to another game that I want to definitely give. I definitely bet this one. Florida and Carolina, right? Both teams losing, but Florida scoring just horrible defensively, and Carolina giving up a lot of goals, just horrible offensively. What's likely to happen here? My sense is that Florida might have some value as a road dog. I kind of like the over because I think Florida will be productive offensively, and Carolina might pick it up at least a little bit offensively. And I'm definitely kind of liking the Florida team total over, which is just 2.5 minus 117. I'll start out right now. I'll definitely give the Florida team total over 2.5 at just minus 117 right now at Pinnacle. And I'm also definitely leaning Florida at plus money and the over on the game in general. What's your take on this one? An interesting matchup here, Jim. A very interesting matchup. Yeah. Canes can't score. Panthers can't keep the puck out of the net. Canes are 27th in the league in offense, averaging 2.6 goals per game. They're 0-2-2 in their last 4. They don't look good, but at least they're keeping the puck out of their net, unlike the Panthers. The Panthers have allowed 5 or more goals in 3 of their past 5 games, a league worst defense, 4.2 goals per game. Now, Roberto Luongo is back in net, and that doesn't change. Like, he's 3.83 goals against average, 901 save percentage. I don't expect those numbers to get that much better this year. Right. Panthers are 1-4 on the road, though. Look very bad on the road so far this year. It's a tough game to figure out. Very tough. Well, I'm going to take the Florida team total over 2.5 at minus 117, and I will also throw on the full game over at 5.5 minus 110 at BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag. Pinnacle has minus 111, but BetOnline is beating a lot of these Pinnacle lines on NHL totals, and they've done it here over 5.5 minus 110 at BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag. Florida, Carolina, and I would give Florida
as a plus as a road dog here, but I don't want to triple up on the game, so I'll just give those two plays. Florida wins; they almost definitely get over 2.5 goals, so I'll take the casher on that one. I'm on this one two ways, Jim. You're going to pass on it?
I'm going to pass on it.
Okay. What else would you like to hit us up with in terms of value plays NHL for Tuesday, November 7th?
Well, I find this Golden Knights Montreal Canadiens game extremely interesting, and I've been trying to figure out a play. We know that Price has been out the last 2 games with a lower body issue. We don't know if he's going to be back in there tonight. Supposedly he's been practicing. The Habs looked really good on that 4-game road swing and caught me by surprise, earning 6 out of 8 points, beating the Jets and Blackhawks back-to-back. And we just saw what the Jets did to the Stars on the road. The Jets are a good hockey team, and the Habs are scoring goals, and so are the Golden Knights. So, with a 4-string goalie and goal for Vegas, it just looks like the over screaming at me. Screaming at me, and I don't know if
I can
listening.
read the risk. You know what's screaming at me is your risk aversion, Jimmy the Bag. That's what's screaming at me. I hear you, though. Look, when you're down units, it's tough because then you're like, you really want to be sure, but you got to take... You got to take a chance no matter what you can't let your risk aversion, put you off of positive EV plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over in this one.
Okay, all right. I didn't mean to talk you on that one, but it sounds to me like you like it. I wouldn't doubt your handicapping. So you're going to take the over 6 minus 110. That's almost universal across the board. Vegas and Montreal over 6 minus 110. That one didn't have an overnight line, so I did not look at that game yet. But your initial analysis of it makes me think that's a good play.
It feels like it's. I don't want to call it low-hanging fruit, but it feels like it's just staring us in the face. The Canadiens' backup goalies look very good. Is that can that possibly continue?
Mm-hmm.
No. So, and if Price comes back in goal, that's even better for us. Mm-hmm. So I just every single which way I look at it, this game looks like there's going to be goals.
All right, let's move on to the 2 other games that are both interesting to me that I did both bet. Let's talk about the first one, Arizona and Pittsburgh. Now, obviously, Pittsburgh having trouble scoring, yet here they are, minus 250. Bam! The market doesn't care at all. The market's like, fuck it. Here you go. Bam! Minus 250, Pittsburgh. You got Crosby and Malkin. Here you go. Minus 250. And also, obviously, Pittsburgh has been a big under-trending team, I believe, certainly with their team totals. They just haven't been scoring. At some point, their scoring probably is going to pick up. So I'd be leaning under here, and I would also be leaning to the Arizona team total under. If Pittsburgh might come out and have a 5-2 win and the game goes over, but Arizona at under 2.5, I did bet that one. I got it at minus 125 at Heritage. Now it's down to a minus 127 at Pinnacle. What do you think about these lines, Jim?
They're huge.
Yeah.
And the Pens are getting Justin Schultz back, as well as Matt Hunwick. But Schultz is really going to help with that breakout pass. He's going to help their offense immensely, and they need the help. Crosby has 0 goals in his last 8 games. Kessel has 0 goals in his last 6 games. They led the league last year with 3.39 goals per game. This year, they're 26th with 2.63 goals a game, and that's got to change. They're still second in the league in power play at 28.8%, which means they've only scored 25 goals, 25 even-strength goals in 16 games. That's not a Pens team that I remember, and they clearly are missing Schultz. Now, the Pens have shut the Coyotes out in back-to-back games at PPG Paints Arena. The Coyotes are 2-12-2 and 28th in goals per game at 2.5, 23rd in power play, 28th in penalty killing. So you have to think that the Pens power play is going to light up this garbage penalty kill. It's I can't take the Penguins minus 1.5 at this line. It's just not. It's just ridiculous.
I'm going to take Arizona on the team total under 2.5 minus 127. I bet that one. If it cashes, if Pittsburgh runs away with it, this one might be a 7-1 game where the under doesn't come close to cashing, but the Arizona team total over does cash. If Arizona gets to 3 goals, then good for them. My sense is that it's either going to be low scoring or high scoring, and mostly with Pittsburgh doing the bulk of the scoring.
Schultz is really going to help. Their defense desperately needed that outlet pass, and he'll bring it for him.
Well, let's get to some comments in a second. But first, let's talk about St. Louis and New Jersey. This is another interesting game. Both these teams obviously very banged up. Allen was not so good in his last start, and in general not good on the road. But I'm thinking that maybe he'll come back here and have a better game here. A lot of injuries for both teams. My sense is, though, that it's a little bit of a better spot for St. Louis, and maybe they're a good play on the puck line, on the -1 line. What's your take on that one?
I'm concerned that Tarasenko left practice with an upper body injury and is questionable. he is. I mean, Schwartz has been incredible, but in the past year and a half or 2 years, he has been the whole offense, and now we're seeing a much deeper offense with Shannon and with Schwartz. But the injuries are a big deal. Kyle Palmieri, Marcus Johansson, Steve Santini are injured and will not play for the Devils. And, Jake Allen, his numbers against the Devils are ridiculous. Now, I don't really care because the sample size is so small, but he's 5-0 with 2 shutouts in 5 career games versus the Devils. This is a very different New Jersey Devil team.
Yeah.
But because of the injuries, I would lean under. But I don't want to make a move on one of the sides because I just who knows?
See, I'm kind of a believer in Allen here, even though he hasn't been good on the road, and his last game wasn't that good. I think we'll see a bounce back from him. And at the line, I'm going to take St. Louis. I'm going to take him again on the -1 line. The money line part of that will be -116, and the puck line part of that will be +246 right now. The line at Pinnacle, so that's another pretty decent sized underdog line for St. Louis -1. And I'm just kind of liking St. Louis here, at the current line. If it were higher than what it is now, but I think they have a bigger edge than the market's giving them credit for. What do you think? No?
This Devils team is really impressed, but as we've seen, this is their first home game off of a road trip, and that's a good time to fade.
And they have injuries as well. And I feel like it's a bounce back spot for St. Louis. All right, so let's review the plays so far. Jim, if there are any plays from the other 2 games that you want to give, we'll get to that, and then we'll get to some comments. Jim, understandably risk averse with just 3 plays. Isles money line, Kings money line, and Vegas Montreal over 6 -110. And I am not risk averse today for lots of reasons. I'm on the Isles -1, the over 5.5 -121 in that game. The Florida team total over 2.5 -117. The over in that game as well, 5.5 -110. I'm on the Kings -1, the Arizona team total under 2.5 -127, and St. Louis -1 as well. Now let's review some comments. And there's 2 other games that we didn't get to that didn't have overnight lines that I did not look at. Do you like anything from either of those games, Jim?
They're both tough to figure out. The Canucks at Flames is the Flames just aren't scoring. They've moved Michael Furlan to the top line with Monahan and Goodrow, and it looks like it's working. For how long it will work, I don't know. They're 30th in the league in goals, averaging just 2.4. But they did manage 4 goals last out versus the Devils. And the surprising Canucks are 4-1-0 on the road. And on the second half of a back-to-back, lost to the Red Wings 3-2 last night. 3rd in goals allowed at just 2.4. They've managed very well without Edler. I think this will be this is a great situation for the Flames to have a tired Canucks team fly in. Mm-hmm. And then they arrived at like 2 in the morning or something last night. And I think this is a great spot for the Flames, but they're giving nothing to Vancouver. I mean, Vancouver's a +160 dog.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, if Vancouver had won last night, I'd be all over Calgary here. But they're kind of annoyed and pissed at what they did last night. And again, I agree with you. I think Calgary should be the favorite here, clearly. But at this line, actually, it'd be Vancouver or nothing for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. The line is just way too heavy on the Flames here.
All right, we have some funny comments here. Comment of the day right now. Sportsbet University. I'm going to give this one a comment of the day stamp right now. Sportsbet University, gents, love you guys, but this set looks like a kid's furniture background at American Furniture Warehouse. Not your fault, but ... have them fix it for you. Ouch.
Wow. Are there empty bottles of Jameson at American Furniture Warehouse?
Yeah, the alcoholic kids, I don't know. Yeah, wow. Comment of the day, Sportsbet University. And actually, looking at it right here on camera, it does look like a lot more kids' furniture-y than it does in real life. But even in real life, it does look kind of like, but I kind of like that. It's kindergarten chic. You know what I mean?
Kindergarten chic.
That's what this is. I mean, kindergarten chic is very, very on trend right now and projected to be top 3 in terms of furniture style trends for 2018.
I did not know that.
So yeah, so maybe that's. I mean, I don't know who designed it. Was whoever designed this. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on trend. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that you like it, but it's definitely on trend right now. Let's see other comments here. Skooma Steve saying, I'm on the Blues. McGogster, guy who knows what he's talking about. McGogster99 says Arizona will score, Pete. So he disagrees with my Arizona team total under. What do you think? You agree with him there?
I find that Arizona at such a big dog is very enticing, and I've been looking at it for a few hours now. You're getting such a giant number on Arizona. They could play really hard. Pittsburgh's not. But I do think Justin Schultz is really going to help the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Jesus Cabrera says Pete looks like Cheech. Thank you, Captain Obvious comment of the day by Jesus Cabrera. No, I love Jesus Cabrera. That is I do look like Cheech, and I can actually do an okay Cheech impression, which I'll do later on. For some reason, my impressions come to me like after the day is done, the games are over, and I'm in the shower and I'm totally relaxed. Right now, I'm way too hyped up and intensely focused on the lines and the analysis to think about anything else. But all right, let's shall we move on? Is there anything else?
I'm going to add the under in the Kings-Ducks game.
Okay, that's right. We were going to review it. Okay, so you're going to get under 5.5 minus 128. Jim said he's not taking any unders at minus 130 or higher, and I fed him a minus 128 line right on the border. And Jim will. That's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I would only give a blowjob for $1 million. Like, what about $990,000? Would you blow a guy for $990,000?
I would be blowing everybody.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So Jim's not taking any unders at minus 130 or higher. What about minus 128? And Jim says yes. He's biting on the Kings and Anaheim under 5.5 at minus 128. And I also mentioned, I don't know, maybe if you like that one, maybe you want to double up here. Again, I don't want to talk you into plays you don't want to give, but the Anaheim team total under 2.5 and plus 105 is looking damn tempting, Jim.
Yeah, it is looking tempting, but I'm just going to stick with the under 5.5 at minus 128.
Right. You don't want to double up. I'm thinking of adding the Anaheim under 2.5 plus 105, although earlier in the year they were scoring a lot. It's just I'm a believer in quick. What's your take on the Anaheim offense in general going forward, Jim?
It's in deep trouble until Getzlaf and Fowler. You know what? Fowler isn't really, Fowler hurts on the power play, but Getzlaf he does everything. He's just a phenomenal player, offensively, defensively, big and soft hands. He's a leader. He calls people out. And he'll still call people out, I'm sure, but not having him on the ice is a huge loss. I think he's just a hell of a hockey player.
Okay, well, here we go. Poster Jin Rummy says my NHL model got 4.33 goals projected for Kings Ducks. Also, both goalies, very good numbers in career against opponents. So there you go. Those NHL models. And again, these NHL plays there's no locks and stuff because there's so much variance, So, all right. So, Don Monaco, here's a question, and I will get to it. Don Monaco says, Pete, what books give the -1 line other than 5 dimes? And the answer is many do, but I don't even pay attention to that because I make my own -1 lines. The way you do it is you bet the same amount to win on the money line as you bet to risk on the puck line, and then you automatically have a -1 line. And the advantage of doing it that way is, first of all, you don't have to do them at the same books, and second of all, doing it that way, you'll get better odds than because the books will charge you for buying and selling runs in baseball, or points, or goals in hockey, so you don't get charged for that. You get the lowest juice on the puck line and the money line, and you can also do it at different books. So I make my own +1 and -1 lines. I do it that way, and it's better. That's the answer, Don Monaco. So yes, other than 5 dimes, lots of books do, but I make my own, and if you're going to bet them, you should too. Absolutely.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.